It's nearly over. The doom and gloom that's been surrounding these crypto markets over the last 6 months is about to come to an abrupt end. And I've got proof for you in this video that tells you that all those people who are screaming for a recession are completely wrong. That all those people who are telling you that crypto's already topped out and it's going lower from here are completely wrong. Guys, things are about to heat up quicker than you can probably imagine right now, and because we've been sat in a lull state for the last 6 months, you're probably not going to be ready for it at all. I'm here to tell you why you need to focus in right now, why things are about to pick up and get better very, very soon. Hit that like button. Let's get into today's video. Now, why did I feel the need to make such a video on a day like today? Well, because I go across to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, and I see that all of you are literally shitting your pants right now, with the extreme fear being hit in crypto, which completely boggles my mind because Bitcoin right now is sat at 56k. It's really not that bad. Last time this Fear and Greed Index was at 22, was when Bitcoin was priced around 20 grand, which is absolutely ludicrous, okay? So people are panicking when there's really no need to panic. It's just because we've gone through a sustained, lengthy period of mid-cycle correction. But if you're in crypto from this time last year, you've probably just seen a little bit of a dip in your portfolio, but in general, you're still massively up. So this extreme fear indicates a good thing for us. Usually you must do what Warren Buffett says, and you should buy into fear and sell from greed. That's obviously not financial advice, although Warren Buffett is probably allowed to give you financial advice. And today, by the way, it's Friday. I know this is going to go live on Saturday, but it's still relevant. Something very, very, very important happened. You're probably hearing everyone being like, oh, interest rates are going to get cut. Well, maybe they get cut. We don't know. And if interest rates get cut, it's very bullish for crypto. It is. And we've had something confirmed today, which is going to be pretty much a guarantee as to why we're going to see interest rate cuts. And if you're wondering why it's such a big deal, well, this piece of news that's just been announced is what's caused Bitcoin to literally do this candle pump at nearly 2% in just the last hour. Okay, and it's only 2%, okay, but still pretty good for Bitcoin that's doing not a lot for months. And that's because non-farm payrolls have just been announced. Now, the non-farm payrolls is basically all the jobs in the US that aren't farming, that aren't military service, and indicates basically the state of the economy. Because obviously, if more jobs have been created, it's healthier for the economy. You can see the consensus was to be around 160,000 jobs created, but instead it was only 142,000, which is much lower than expected. And this is incredibly important because it shows that the economy is slowing, and we know that the interest rates are basically the cause for what is breaking the US economy right now. And there's a very, very, very high chance now that this has been confirmed that interest rates get brought down on the 16th of September. If you don't know if that's bullish or not for crypto, it is, because it creates a risk-on environment where people are happy to trade riskier assets, of which crypto is pretty damn risky. So that's obviously positive for crypto. But are we about to enter into a recession? Well, if the economy in the US is slowing, then maybe we're heading towards a recession. You make a good point, but this is an election year. And in election years, from September the 5th to the end of the year, we very, very rarely ever see a negative performance in the stock market. Stock market and crypto is closely aligned, okay? Stock market also very closely aligned as to whether or not we're going to go into recession. And you can see the last time we saw this happen was back in 2008, which was the year that followed 2007. And you're like, yeah, no shit. Obviously, 2008 follows 2007. Well, why is that important? Well, that's important because 2008 followed 2007, and 2007 was the end of the 18.5-year housing cycle. Now, stick with me, guys. This is something that I've pinched from Jason Pizzino, who's got a great YouTube channel. Make sure you go and check out his day-to-day, no BS, kind of crypto trading stuff, talking about what's going on in Bitcoin and the macro environment across crypto and stocks. What he points out is that there is a 18-year cycle that goes through this part, where you have the first kind of 7-year period of slow growth, into the second 7-year period of explosive growth, into a 4-year kind of like collapse and then kind of rebuild phase. You will notice that the collapse and rebuild phase is due to happen in 2025 and into 2026. The election right now is in 2024, and remember, 2008 was when we saw the collapse that came after this 2007 peak. Therefore, we're not going to see it happen before that. The house prices are an indicator, basically, of whether or not we're going to go into recession. The house prices will continue to grow explosively worldwide until 2025 to 2026. So sometime next year, you probably want to be all out of crypto, because when this crash comes, it's going to be pretty scary, okay? Because this winner's curse basically is where the market absolutely soars and rallies higher and higher, and eventually collapses really, really aggressively. So if you're holding cryptos, then I would be inclined not to be staking them a long time, okay? Don't go and stake cryptos to earn like 15% in rewards for like 8 years, because it's just the most stupid thing I've heard, okay? If you're staking cryptos for a long period of time, other than USDT, you're going to get absolutely wrecked. You might as well just hold them, try and sell somewhere in 2025, okay? And then try and buy again somewhere like 2027, and then you're going to be way happier than if you just staked for 8 years, like many people have done with ICP and stuff, okay? Peaks and troughs. Crypto runs in peaks and troughs. Every crypto will peak and it will also trough. And 15% of rewards is nothing compared to kind of like the amount more you will make by selling somewhere near the top and buying somewhere near the bottom. Okay, so hopefully this is all making sense, okay? So this is proving that recession isn't coming. The Fear and Greed Index makes for kind of prime time in terms of buying, because it means that a lot of people, retail investors like you and like me, have been shaken out of the markets because things have got very nasty. So that means that Bitcoin should be on the way up. And if we look at this chart pattern that I've kind of created, which, you know, I know lots of people have been focusing as well on this kind of falling channel, which is very much in play as well, you would have to admit that this also seems to be holding, with the exception of that kind of fake out there. And actually things are looking pretty good, okay? It does seem that Bitcoin's holding somewhere in this area, and we could well start to see some form of movement higher. When do we get a break towards the upside? I think sometime early October is when we're likely to see a big shove in the Bitcoin price. And from then, we run into Q4. And this is what happens in Q4, typically in Bitcoin, particularly if you focus on the years of elections, okay? Which were 2016, up 58%. 2020, up 168%. Now, we're about to run into 2024, has yet to happen. We're following a red Q2, a red Q3, and it's only because we had such an aggressively pumping green Q1 that things are feeling a little bit, you know, things don't feel great because it's just been stretched out, okay? This bull market, many of you got coaxed into the bull market way earlier than many of you would normally have done because everything was running really hot very early on. That's an indicator of the health of the markets. So lots of people aped in. It pumped the prices a bit too hard, and that's why we're kind of feeling a lot of pain right now over this last kind of 6 months or so. And the markets are just trying to find the level that they should be at. Okay, so now you find them at the good level that they should be at, and you can find some good entries. And that's for Bitcoin, okay? But it's not just Bitcoin, because most of you are not holding Bitcoin, okay? You're degens, right? You're all holding your altcoins. You're like, yeah, Bitcoin's just going up. And yeah, and people have been telling me that it's all about the Bitcoin dominance. Well, there is some truth to that. So let's have a look at the Bitcoin dominance and see what's going on. Now, as we look across to the Bitcoin dominance and jump onto a weekly chart, you will see something pretty significant. If we drag across areas of resistance and support, previous resistance was kind of through this zone here. In fact, previous support also coming across, you can see we found support here, we found support here. Previous resistance, you would have to argue that this area between 56 and, you know, up probably to 59, 60% is crucial and very, very interesting for Bitcoin dominance. If you drag it across, you will realize that the Bitcoin dominance runs up into this area. And as well, you can see where it's been shooting up and shooting up and shooting up. It's starting to form more of a kind of like a curve like this, okay? And as you can see, it's slowly running into this resistance here. Now, there is a chance that we see the Bitcoin dominance suddenly spike like this and then drop down. And when this drops down is eventually altcoin season. But I do expect that we will see a bit of a push higher when Bitcoin has eventually a break towards the upside, which is coming incredibly soon. And I think you realize, remember, from September to the 5th, the end of the year is going to be green. And I don't want to use the terms guaranteed, but it's almost guaranteed to be green, okay? Only when the election year overlaps with the after the winner's curse phase do we get these big red blocks, okay? These big red down bits. Instead, what we're expecting is big up parts, okay? And yes, this is the stock market. And yes, crypto is not the stock market. And yes, crypto's been going sideways while the stock market's going up. And that, I think, is because crypto overcooked way too early, okay? Stock market has now been able to catch up and push ahead. Bitcoin will now start to follow the stock market. Pretty damn confident of that. And if the Bitcoin dominance starts to fall, then we're heading into altcoin season. If you look at this, which is from Crypto Choreo over on June.com, I showed you this before, you can see that we are now starting to bounce. The alt signal is down below this green line. We haven't had a more bullish signal from this chart ever before, okay? Because the last time we were around this low was like January the 11th, 2021. January the 11th, 2021 was the last time that the alts were like down lower with Bitcoin up high. Bitcoin's up here, okay? So it's not necessarily a great time to buy into Bitcoin. Great time to buy into altcoins. And if you remember this date, January 2021 or January the 11th, 2021. And this is Polygon Matic. And you're like, why are you showing me Polygon Matic? Well, guys, because Polygon Matic from the 16th of May, 2019 till what? The 4th of February 2021 pretty much went sideways, as long as Bitcoin's been going sideways. Remember, January the 11th, 2021. January the 11th, 2021 is what? Literally here. This was the last time that we saw that dip down on that kind of altcoin chart from Crypto Corio. What happened next for Matic was truly pretty filthy, because in less than 6 months, it basically did an 11x, which is outrageous. Okay, so an 11x, and in many of the altcoins as well, we saw bigger pushes as well. So that's a very good indicator that altcoins probably aren't bad bets right now, when many people are talking about them going to zero and saying that they're awful. Some of them, may never recover from some of the downside that's been going on. Okay, I've been talking about how to cut those out in various videos that I've been making. And if you missed those videos, then make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell turned on, because I'll be making a video soon about how to rejig your portfolio, cut the losers, and start to go off after some stronger coins. This is also worth paying attention to from El Crypto Prof over on Twitter, who's talking about this accumulation schematic for the altcoin market cap. And this is basically on a weekly chart. So you can see that this was the lows that came in around the FTX collapse. We then have kind of this whole period playing out. We've now been in this like phase E, falling wedge for a period of time, and now we're about to push higher into kind of like the next level beyond this accumulation pattern. So why all the doom and gloom? Well, guys, I just need to kind of remind you that things aren't that bad at all, okay? Literally, last year, we had a sideways period that ran about 19 days longer than the sideways period we've been going in through so far. But you didn't really care about that back then, because the altcoins hadn't overinflated so much, so they were kind of like going sideways for a period of time. Right now, because everything overinflated earlier on this year, we've sort of been seeing a sideways action, seeing a bit rough, okay, and has pulled back on us quite aggressively. But that doesn't mean too much, okay? You need to stay positive, because what is coming next is going to be absolutely game-changing. So try and keep calm. You're in the exact right place, and things will be okay. Hopefully that's making you feel a little bit better. Now, whilst you might not have been aggressively buying and selling crypto recently because the markets have been a bit scary, I assume that as soon as the market picks up, you're going to be aping into everything, and you need, therefore, a decent exchange with no KYC, which is really important. This is why I personally use BITUNIX, which is linked down below in the description. It comes with an exclusive bonus as well for the House of Crypto, and you'll also be able to qualify for future airdrops for different coins that they're launching. BITUNIX has an exclusive partnership with us and will list coins that we ask them to list on their platform. Therefore, if you want them to list any specific coins, then leave those coins down below and I'll go and ask the team to see if they can list them for you. You can access this exchange from wherever you are in the world without the KYC, and you can buy all the different tokens that you want. And if you use my link down below, you'll qualify for an exclusive bonus. Also, I recommend checking out the description down below. I work with a few different exchanges. I also have deals for hardware wallets, VPNs, and anything you so wish, and all the things that you need to be able to be successful during this crypto market. So make sure you go and pick out those down below, all with exclusive discounts, bonuses, and much, much more. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, hit the like button, and let's get ready to see Bitcoin push above 100K for the very first time. See you later. Bye-bye.